All right, our next tribe that we're going to compare and contrast with is the Iroquois tribe. I chose this because it has a really great name, and I think that you guys would learn a lot of information from this tribe. So make sure you take notes on this tribe, and then we're going to see how are they the same and how they are different.
I'm reading a Native American folktale. It's about how the bear once had a long, bushy tail. The fox tricked the bear into sticking his tail down an icy hole to catch fish. The tail snapped off in the ice. That's why the bear has a short tail today. It's a legend that's been passed down through the Iroquois people. Who are the Iroquois people? The Iroquois are originally from the area that is now New York. Different nations make up the Iroquois, including the Seneca, Cayuga, Onondaga, Oneida, Mohawk, and Tuscarora. Together they're known as the Six Nations. Today, the Iroquois people live in communities around the United States and Canada. They've been living in North America for over 1,000 years, long before settlers arrived. What was life like for the Iroquois long ago? The Iroquois lived in longhouses, which are long buildings made of wood and covered by animal skins or bark. In fact, they call themselves the Haudenosaunee, which means they are building a longhouse. Large extended families could live together in a longhouse. Sometimes there could be hundreds of people in one longhouse. The Iroquois people worked together to help the whole tribe. The men protected the tribe and used bow and arrows, spears, and blowguns to hunt. They hunted and trapped bears, beavers, deer, muskrats, rabbits, and moose. Iroquois men made agreements with other tribes. The women cared for the children and were in charge of raising crops. They decided how their land and its resources would be used. Women also nominated the sachem, or chief of the tribe, and made sure he did his job. What is Iroquois culture like? Wampum are beads made out of shells. The Iroquois made wampum belts to honor important events and people. The patterns told a story that was read out loud by an elder. The wampum belts played an important part in religious ceremonies. The Iroquois held ceremonies each season and thanked their spirits. They honored maple trees for their sap, celebrated the first strawberries of the season, and observed the corn harvest. During some ceremonies, special leaders wore masks and healed members of the tribe. Some Iroquois still hold these ceremonies and carry on their traditions today. What happened when settlers arrived? In the 1600s, European settlers arrived and began trading with the Iroquois people. But the settlers also brought diseases, and many tribe members got sick and died. The Iroquois fought with other native people to get more land and control trade with the Europeans. Then, in the 1700s, war broke out between French and British settlers. The Iroquois sided with the British in order to protect their lands. The British won, but settlers began taking over Iroquois land. Later, during the American Revolution, some Iroquois nations supported the British, while others supported the colonists. The Iroquois people were divided and fought with each other. In the 1800s, native people, including the Iroquois, were forced off their land and moved to a special territory. Still, the Iroquois people have kept their culture alive. They pass down their traditions and stories. I'm going to read some more Iroquois folk tales. This one's called The Boy Who Lived with the Bears. You wrote your own folk tale? The Girl Who Lived with a Robot.
Okay, so that was about the Iroquois tribe. Now, make sure you have a pencil and a writing material, or your pen, a whiteboard marker, and your journal or piece of paper, because we're now going to do our Venn diagram to compare these two tribes.